like to call the regular council meeting for the town of Grand Bay-Westfield on Monday, October 28th, 2024 to order at 7:00 p.m. We respectfully acknowledge that Grand Bay-Westfield exists on the traditional Wolastoqey land. The lands of Wabanaki people are recognized in a series of peace and friendship treaties to establish an ongoing relationship of peace, friendship, and mutual respect between equal nations. The river that runs by our town is known as Wolastoq, along which live Wolastoqey, the people of the beautiful and bountiful river. We, the staff and elected representatives, pay respect to the elders, past and present, and descendants of this land. Good evening, everybody. I would like to take a moment to congratulate Premier-designate Susan Holt on her historic election victory, becoming New Brunswick's first female premier. This is an exciting time for our province, and I look forward to seeing how Grand Bay-Westfield can continue to grow under her leadership and the provincial government's support. I also want to thank all the candidates from our area and beyond who put their name forward in this election. In particular, our successful MLA, Bill Oliver. We're looking forward to working with you as we have in the past. Running for office takes dedication, and our community benefits from the passion and the commitment shown by all the candidates. So thank you all. And to everyone in Grand Bay-Westfield, thank you for participating in this important democratic process. Whether you voted, whether you volunteered, or just simply encouraged others to engage, you've helped shape the future of our province. I'd also like to congratulate our Community Vitality Committee, the River Valley Middle School Home and School, all the students who took part in the Halls of Terror, making it such a wonderful event, the Grand Bay-Westfield Fire and Rescue, all our local businesses, and everyone who not only participated, but took part in our 3rd annual Fall Fest. It was a fantastic event. It keeps getting better every year, and just huge thank you. It's a big lift, it's a lot of work, and I really appreciate that. So thank you to everybody. Item 4, record of attendance. We have everyone here with the exception of Councillor Balcom, who sends his regrets. Item 5, agenda approval. The motion is that the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield approve the agenda of October 28, 2024 as presented. Do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Toole, thank you. Do I have a second? Councillor McIntosh Lawrence. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, thanks. Item 6, disclosure of interest. Are there any? There being none, we'll move on to item 7, public hearings, petitions, delegations, petitions. 7A, RCMP quarterly report, and we have Sergeant Ben Conley here with us today. Nice to see you, Sergeant. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Your Worship, and councillors and friends of the council. Don't want to turn off any computers here, better put that to the side. So I did submit beforehand a quarterly report that we submitted to our SC. So you see it's a little more overarching than just Grand Bay-Westfield proper, but there is some meaningful things in there, I believe, that may be of interest. If you turn on to the priorities, it's important to see the RC9 priorities are also aligned with what I'll be going over with some detachment priorities as well. And you'll see how they overlap and stuff further. If you go to the page with Grand Bay proper, you'll see there's 228 occurrences that happened between April and June 1st, the first quarter of 2024. And nothing there is overly staggering or big changes from the year on before. You'll see there is changes up and down in some areas, but sometimes the sample size is quite small. So going from 4 to 5 looks like a high percentage change, but it's not overly concerning to me, but nothing there that I was overly alarmed with. You'll see there the officers were out doing a lot of proactive enforcement in the community or in the RC9. But you'll also notice if you look at the hotspot map or the map, the RCMP Division Quarterly Statistics map at the end, you'll see a lot of concentration was done with within the Grand Bay-Westfield jurisdiction. And we had 267 tickets in warnings in that quarter. And I think you'll see in the quarter that just finished, that it'll be even up from there, maybe even significantly. One thing that we did not capture on the report here was the selective traffic enforcement files, and just to show the increase in the more that the members are going out there, it was 54 of those in this quarter here that we're reporting on, but the next quarter you'll see it's almost double to 107 different files of the members being out and about. And there's been 38 check stops done in the Grand Bay-Westfield area this year. So, one thing that we did see a rise in, we did a media release. Didn't necessarily happen in Grand Bay proper, but it was a rise or a continuance of copper wire thefts in the area. We're asking for community assistance and awareness about some suspicious activities at night or in areas where copper wire may be, to make sure they call the police. So although not happening within town limits, it would affect us because of the critical infrastructure and cell service and stuff that can potentially be jeopardized, internet connection that can be the lifeline at times there as well. So vehicle collisions were also reported there, and although we'd always like to see them be at zero, there has been some, but I'm not seeing any concentrated area or any intersections of concern or areas of concern. So they're spotted a little bit through the map, so unfortunately there. So there's also some statistics about the operational call center. 85% of calls coming in are non-emergent still, and the average wait time on hold right now is 6 minutes and 3 seconds. I noticed that went up a little bit from last year, but they are also spending a little bit more time on the phone with people too. So there's kind of a balance of ensuring people are being heard, but maybe waiting a little bit more after. So still striving for excellence in that area there in Fredericton. So all schools have been visited in Grand Bay. Lockdown procedures have been done with 2 of them, but the safe plans have been completed and finalized with all 4 to ensure that we have up-to-date contact information and are able to respond in any unfortunate event, which we do not anticipate, but working on better relations with them. So just checking the time there. I know you have a busy agenda, Your Worship. So I appreciate a few one-on-one meetings we've been able to have with the councillors and employees of Grand Bay. It's been very invaluable in setting priorities, or sort of interim priorities, because it's not a year in, it's sort of just because I arrived. I wanted to make sure we were on track. But we'll be ready to go for April 1st of 2025 for sure. But a lot of those comments, crime statistics, and conversations with members and people in the community kind of confirmed 4 different things that I've been focusing on since my arrival. Crime reduction, of course, being one, and some of this is overlapping with 2 other, actually all of the other priorities, but community engagement and police visibility. So I believe we can achieve some of those things through more police on the roads, more police available, and more approachable police officers that can come through. So we're hoping to work collaboratively with the community, local governments, industry, and others to reduce crime in a proactive, trauma-informed, and evidence-led approach. So community engagement, we want to build trust or strengthen our relations with the community, and especially youth, and seniors is another important people as well, but through various informal and formal outreach and want to have open lines of communication with all stakeholders, including yourself. So a couple of things recently, we had a trunk and treat. We were happy to bring our safety beaver out to that yesterday. She wasn't super happy about it, but she was deep down, so just a sore neck afterwards. But it was great to be out in the community for that, and other community activities as well. So police visibility is the same lines, but being out, doing more of those check stops, doing more of those selective traffic enforcement things, and just being in public's eye wherever we can be. And the 4th one, which might maybe more indirectly, I hope will see a betterment to the community, but is member wellness. So I want to help make sure our members are healthy and at work. Noticed everybody seems happy right now. Of course, we're keeping tabs on that, but want to prioritize their physical, mental, and emotional health. As we know, they go to some of the worst calls in town, as our other first responders do as well. And promote a positive culture to ensure they're able to enrich and be flush with our RCMP core values, which is act with integrity, show respect, demonstrate compassion, take responsibility and serve with excellence. So, a few mouthfuls there, but if you're willing, I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Sergeant, for that. I'll open the floor to questions from council now. Does anybody have any questions for Sergeant? Councillor Day?
I don't have a question, but I'd like to tell you that I am following on Facebook all of the speeders you guys are nailing. And they're not just a little bit of speed. A motorcycle doing 190 and 110 zone, and what they ended up paying for not having a license, for the ticket for speeding, and then having the vehicle or the bicycle impounded. Really, I hope the community, if you're following them, pay attention, because it's, how can I put it, it's nice to see the RCMP out and around.
I agree, it is a bit startling at times, and there was a release about a month and a half ago on our own streets here as well with a very high motorcycle that kind of pounded, and quite the hefty fine as well, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Hopefully catch more people being dangerous.
Well, when it's on Facebook, it makes you sit up and take notice. I mean, even my husband and I thought, how the heck did they go that fast? You know, like, sorry, I speed, but I'm not that fast.
Thank you, Councillor. Do you have any other questions for the Sergeant? Councillor?
I have a question. I like I don't know if it's different, but I found it easier to read this time, so I don't know if the layout's different, but.
Okay.
So my question is around the communication center. I see the abandoned calls is up this year, and I'm assuming that's related to the wait time, increase in wait time. And I'm just wondering if there's a plan going forward.
It's an astute observation. I don't think that is the case, because that wait time is for non-emergency calls, where the emergent calls are going through the 911 calls. Those would be dropped 911 calls. So I don't think it would fit that category. So I'm not sure we could draw that correlation from that statistic. But they are a bit up, and one plausible explanation, I know we have been getting a fair bit of, not a fair bit, but some 911 calls due to, I think the iPhone is the one that calls automatically if they believe there's an accident. So a quick stop on the phone could make a drop 911 call, so that could be a plausible explanation. I know we've had some of those recently, but potential wait time even on the emergency could be a possibility too. I don't believe so.
Do we have any other questions? I have a few, if that's okay, sir.
Absolutely.
So how are our staffing levels right now?
So we are at 10 members right now. All is well on those front. I think the other day shift we had four members on, 5 members in the area. It was quite impressive, and we were able to get some work done. So I think it's stronger than it has been historically. Our experienced member that's coming over from the military police is getting to the near end of his training. He'll be on his own, so to speak, and the cadet is doing quite well in her first few weeks of training, Constable Payne. I hope to bring her to meet you guys at the next meeting. And another recruit is coming later in the fall that we're excited to meet as well. So New Brunswicker, born and raised, so should have some understanding of the areas.
That's great, and it's nice to hear the focus on member wellness, because that will keep our members in the workforce, and that's really important. I have another question too with respect, I don't know if you have the answer to this or not, but the online crime reporting tool, are we seeing an increase of use in that, reducing pressure on the call center?
I'm not sure if there's been an increase in that, but I know it is used quite a bit, and there's also a callback unit in the division that's doing some of the work after hours, and it's, but no, I don't have the exact numbers on that. But anything would help, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was curious to see if if there's some traction generated with that. And I love the checkpoints. I'm hearing from residents that they see you out and about, and that's a very positive thing. I like the ones over by the school. I know nobody likes that, but I was actually driving there the other day, and it wasn't during the usual time where you'd have a checkpoint there. And I was going my 30 kilometers an hour, and someone passed me in the school zone on solid line. So we still have some work to do there,
Mhm.
but it's really great to see the checkpoints. I like those. I know that there have been issues with impaired driving and things like that we need to mitigate. So thank you for your commitment to that.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Do we have any other questions for the sergeant before I let him go back to hopefully your family and you're done for the day?
Yes, well, I've been home and back, so that's I would just say though, it's a post that we feel like it is home already. It's very welcoming, neighbors and community alike, and feels less like an assignment and maybe like forever, so we'll see.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, good.
Unless you get rid of me, that is. There's always that option.
Well, thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Sergeant, we appreciate your work.
Okay,
And please pass that on to the members as well.
will do, appreciate it.
So the motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield receive and file the information presented. Do I have a motion? Councillor Bailman, thank you. Do I have a second? Councillor Burton, thanks. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, thanks. Item 8, minutes of previous meeting. 8A, regular council minutes of October 15th, 2024. The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of October 15th, 2024 as presented. And do I have a motion? Councillor Bellman, thank you. Do I have a second? Deputy Mayor, thank you very much. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, thanks. Item 9, unfinished business. There being none, we'll move on to item 10, bylaws. There being none, we'll move on to item 11, new business recommendations. 11A, operations Q3 financial forecast, and I'll pass that over to the Deputy CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I'll in turn pass it over to the CFO for comment, but I guess the quick synopsis of it is we're on the right side of the line.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is the third forecast report we've prepared this year, and it runs up until the end of September. It's pleasing to report that revenues are higher than what was budgeted for by approximately $188,000. This was primarily due to increase in interest earned on deposits we hold, the number of grants we received, and building permit revenue, which is a really good story as we look to grow the community. And expenses are below budget by around $80,000. There were savings from insurance and costs incurred from snow and ice control. The result of this is we're projecting a surplus for 2024 of $268,000. In December, administration will bring forward for your consideration reserve transfers that we'll recommend, and that will happen at the last council meeting in December.
Thank you, James. I'll open up the floor to questions from council. Are you ready? And I'll go ahead and read the motion. The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield receive and file the general revenue 2024 third quarter financial report as presented. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Toole. Do I have a second? Councillor McIntosh Lawrence. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, thanks, and we'll move on to 11B, sewage quarter 3 financial forecast. And Chief?
Once again, maybe not quite as much, but we're on the right side of the line with this one as well, and have the CFO speak.
Thank you. Yes, Your Worship. The sewer utility is projecting a small surplus. That's a result of revenue being higher than what was budgeted for. Again, result of higher than anticipated interest rates. Interest is up. And expenses are right in line with where we budgeted them for. So we have a small surplus of $6,000. It might seem small, but we were projecting a deficit the last quarter, so it's been quite a turnaround. And staff should be commended for the work they did to improve this. There were some repairs that were underway and maintenance that was anticipated it would be more costly. That came in under budget. I would like to point out that there are a number of outstanding accounts from residents. Updated statements are being sent later this week, and any uncollected amounts at the end of November will be forwarded on to collections.
Thank you, James. Do we have any questions for the CFO on the report? There being none, I'll read the motion. The The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield receive and file the sewerage utility 2024 third quarter financial report as presented. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Councillor Bellamans, and do I have a second? Councillor Burpee, thank you. Any further questions or comments? Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thanks, and again, this my thanks to staff for making sure that the ship is going in the right direction. And that in particular, it was nice to see that turnaround on the sewage from the deficit to the small surplus. That's good news. So thank you for all your work there. Item C, Fundy Regional Service Commission Budget 2025, and I will take this one and give the chief a break. So last week, the Fundy Regional Service Commission was actually here in our council chambers, and the budget for 2025 was tabled. It was a $22.5 million budget. You know, our council has had some concerns about the budget lines for the newer mandates, as well as the process involved in getting to those numbers. So without actually preventing the budget from being passed, what we did was we added a few motions to the budget motion to address those issues in the future, and I'll just read those out for people's awareness. So the resolutions that were added to the budget motion were these. One was that the board direct the FRSC to ensure the strategic plan completed in 2023 be reviewed by the board, CEOs and committees to determine its relevancy, effectiveness, and the meeting of regional needs before June 15, 2025 to ensure the alignment of the budget and strategic plan with regional needs. The point of that was to make sure that we're reviewing that plan so that we know that it's still relevant, it's still meeting where we want to go, and that it's relevant to those regional needs. The next one was that the board requests CEO-elect to ensure that committees be consulted and engaged in the development of their respective budgets for budget 2026 and future budgets. And the point is, we have groups of really well qualified people on these committees that should be involved in the development of the budget and in the development of the work that's going to be done in 2025 and beyond. And the last one was that the board direct CEO-elect to submit a detailed account of costs of the newly mandated services of cooperative and regional planning, community development, regional transportation, and regional public safety before December 31st, 2024. And the point of that resolution was to make sure that we understand the tangible benefits that this work is going to be doing for our residents and 2025 and beyond, so that we have a really good handle on the work that's being done, why it's being done, and what we can expect. So the budget was approved. We're moving forward with these caveats, and I think we can live with that. So, does anybody have any questions before I read out the motion? The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield receive and file the information as presented. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Councillor Burpee. Do I have a second? Deputy Mayor Toole, thanks. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, thanks. Item 11D, Recreation Hub Committee appointees, and I'll pass that over to the Deputy CEO.
Thank you, Your Worship. So as council may remember, in August, it approved the terms of reference for the Recreation Hub Advisory Committee. There was 8 applications, and 4 which would be for public appointments, and I'll let our Recreation Program Coordinator Rick update where this is at this point.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we received the 8 applications. We used a rubric to review that was created by a consultant, RC Strategies, to try and bring some independence to how we review and some consistency to how we review these appointments. And the rubric involved the following categories: committee experience, so this could be committees within the town, but also committees outside of our area within work or sport or nonprofit community experience. The diversity of experience, whether that's employment, education, life experience that they could bring to the committee. Community involvement, so your time spent in this community and how you've been involved as a resident, an understanding of the project, which could have been through asking questions to our department or reading what was available publicly through our website. And then demographics, which was using the final category to make sure that we're getting representation for under-engaged demographics, which is in line with the Recreation Master Plan. And through that, the review committee of 4 selected the 4 candidates that will come forward for public appointment. And then we also had our committees, our community association, who would be appointing members. One of which chose not to appoint a member, that was the River Valley Community Center. And then we'll have appointments from the Westfield District Recreation Association and from the River Valley Lions Club.
Thanks, Rick. Do you have any questions for staff before I read up the motions? I just want to thank everybody that was involved to this point. I know it's a lot of work to go through all of those, all the resumes and go through the rubric and make sure that we're representing the community as best we can through this way. So thank you for doing that, and also thank you to all the applicants. I really appreciate the fact that we had more applicants than we had spaces, and if we could have everybody, that would be wonderful. So hopefully the applicants that put their name forward this time will consider serving on additional town committees in the future. Yes?
The one thing I forgot to say, I apologize.
Please.
Because the River Valley Community Center chose not to appoint, we are asking council to consider amendment to the terms of reference in the motion to appoint 4 community members instead of 3 to replace that missing member, so we'll still have 8 community members, which was our intended number.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Okay, so I'll read out the motions. The first one, there's 2 of them. The first one is that the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield update the Recreation Hub Advisory Committee terms of reference to include 4 public committee members and remove representation from the River Valley Community Center. I have a motion. Sorry, Councillor McIntosh Lawrence, and do I have a second? Councillor Bellmans, thank you. Any questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion's carried, thanks. Item 2, that the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield appoint Noah Easton, Jeremy Klein, Kendall McCoy, and Emily Thomas to the 4 public member positions on the Recreation Hub Advisory Committee. That the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield appoint Larry Burns of the Lions Club and Samantha Weldon of the Westfield and District Recreation Association Community Association positions on the Recreation Hub Advisory Committee. Do I have a motion? Councillor Burpee, thank you. And do I have a second? Deputy Mayor Toole, thanks. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. And again, congratulations to the new members and thank you to all who applied. We really appreciate it. Item 11E, Youth Council Liaison and Deputy.
So this is basically same, council terms of reference, or youth council terms of reference were approved in August. So the motion we're looking for this evening is simply to appoint a council liaison for that committee. I guess it's that simple for this. That's just the next step in this phase, and we'll allow the committee to get formed and up and running.
Okay, thank you. So the motion is that the Council of the Town of Grand Bay-Westfield appoint Councillor Carrie Burpee in the advisory position to Youth Council. And do I have a motion? Councillor Bellmans, thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Councillor McIntosh Lawrence. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, and thank you to Councillor Burpee for putting your name forward for that position. We appreciate it. And just a little plug for the committee. We're still looking for we're looking for more youth to join the committee. So if you're watching or listening and you know someone that would be a really good fit or would be interested in this, please reach out to the town. We would really love to hear from you. Item 11F, Community Grants 2024 Fall Intake. And again,
Thank you, Your Worship. So yes, it's round 2 for 2024 for the community grants. There's a total of 6,000 for this intake, and I will turn this over to our Recreation Program Coordinator.
Okay. Thank you. We had 9 applications for the fall community grant process. The committee reviewed all 9 applications in full, and 2 of the applications were deemed ineligible for different reasons. One due to minimal community impact, which is one of the primary criteria that is required to receive the grant. The second was due to the fact that council is actually addressing that particular organization through another means. So they weren't considered for the community grant because the request was significant, but there is value in the request and is being considered through other channels. So the remaining 7 recipients, 6 will receive 100% of their requests, and the final member will receive 65% of their requests. The final grant that's receiving 65%, they have received 100% of their requests over their last 3 applications, and it's a large project that we're continuing to undertake and will continue to support it. But the committee wanted to support the other 6 new projects first before providing the remaining funding for that 7th project. So we have 7 projects receiving funding, 1 of whom is not receiving 100%.
Thanks, Rick. Any questions for Rick before I read the motion? The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield award the community grants as follows. $1,000 for the River Valley Youth Club Flexure Head Project, $1,000 for the Inglewood School Equipping the Community Project, $350 for the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 22 7 Feathers Indigenous Banners, $1,000 for the River Valley Middle School Football Uprights Project, $1,000 for the RVMS Home and School Beach Volleyball Court Sand Project, $650 for the St. Augustine's Memorial Garden Project, and $1,000 for the YMCA of Southwestern NB Summer Camp Access Program. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Toole. Do I have a second? Councillor Bellman, thank you. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, and congratulations to the recipients, and thank you to all these great community groups that are doing good things in our community to make this a better place to live. And thanks also to the committee and to staff. Again, it's when you're faced with that many great projects, it's really hard to make those determinations, even with matrices and rubrics and things like that. So we appreciate that work. 11G, Dirt Road Christmas Parade. Chief?
Thank you. So I believe this is the 3rd or 4th annual Dirt Road Christmas Parade. They're looking to do that again this year on Sunday, November 24th. It'll be starting at 2 p.m. and ending at 4. And this motion is regarding the road closure.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief before I read the motion? The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield authorize road closures on Nericus Road between the Route 102 flashing lights and Britton Road and along Britton Road crossing the railway to the bridge to permit participation with the Westfield District Recreation Association Christmas Parade starting at 2:00 p.m. from the 4 corners, Britton Road and Campbell Road, on Sunday, November 24th, 2024, subject to approvals and confirmation from RCMP, DTI, Ambulance New Brunswick, and the Fire Rescue Department to ensure continuity of emergency services. Do I have a motion? Councillor Burkey, and a second from Councillor McIntosh Lawrence. Thank you. Any questions or comments on the motion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, thank you, and yeah, Chief, I don't know if this is the 3rd or the 4th, but it's a lot of fun, so I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to seeing how many people participate this year, so. We'll move on to item 12, bills for payment. The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield authorize the October 28, 2024 bills for payment as presented in the amount for $173,680.61. And do I have a motion? Councillor Burkey, thank you. Do we have a second? Deputy Mayor Toole, thanks. Any questions or comments on the motion? Alright, there being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Item 13, consent agenda. 13A, UMNB letter of congratulations. B, World Transit Solutions Fund. C, Animal Control Report. End consent agenda. The motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield receive and file the consent agenda items for October 28, 2024. We have a motion, Councillor Bowman, thank you. We have a second, Councillor Burpee, thanks. Any questions or comments on the motion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried, thank you. And item 14, council reports, and we'll start with the Councillor Day.
I don't have anything to report other than the fact that I was away for 2 quilt courses in Bar Harbor, so those were good.
Thank you.
I got nothing before either.
And Deputy Mayor Turner?
I don't have too much, I just had, was able to join a community vitality committee meeting, which I know they discussed Fall Fest, which I was so mad I couldn't go to because I was away, but I can't wait to hear about it. And then there was also a municipal reform committee meeting last week.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor McIntosh Lawrence.
October 16th, we had the Community Vitality Committee meeting to put the final touches on the Fall Fest and Trails of Terror. October 22nd was the monthly RBCC board meeting. And then everything else happened in the last few days. For Fall Fest, I wasn't able to take everything in, but the highlights that I was able to take in, October 23rd, I attended Wing Night at Highlands. Thursday afternoon, I attended the Fall Fest market at British Point. The Friday night, I attended Cask and Kettle. They had a dinner special on and live music, so that was nice. And then Saturday was just a whirlwind. Started out with Witches on the Water, and then I went across the road to the Westfield Eatery where I sang for my breakfast. And then we went to the fire department open house and saw the firefighters taste testing the pies. They were taking their job very seriously. And then that night, of course, was Halls of Terror, which was a huge success. And then on Sunday, yesterday, I went into TD Station to the powwow, which was amazing. I'm so glad I went. It was really emotional and yeah, it was really nice.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Burpee.
Thank you, Your Worship. Basically, my report is almost going to be exactly the same as hers. On the 16th, the Community Vitality meeting basically to discuss all the details for Fall Fest. On the 24th, I went to the Brundage Point Market. There was lots of vendors there. It was actually not bad weather, so it was a good turnout. Then, as the weekend approached, it just got crazy. It was so much fun. We started off at on the 25th, setting up for Halls of Terror. On the 26th, myself and Councillor McIntosh Lawrence dressed as the most adorable witches and went out in our kayaks with about 30 other boaters, which was so fun. I loved it. We went over to the Westfield Eatery, and Councillor McIntosh Lawrence did a great job singing. I entered a pie in the fire department apple pie contest. Let's see. And then Halls of Terror. Congratulations to everybody on that, and the whole Fall Fest week. Actually, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. Home and School showed up in a big way. There was a lot of volunteers, a lot of kids doing a really good job helping out. The night was a super success, and hopefully it just continues to get better and better every year. A shout out to Tracy Parker for a strong vision and pulling that all off. And then on the 27th, I also attended the powwow at Harbour Station, which was fantastic. They just demonstrated their culture, their dance, their the way that they live. It was really, really something to take in. Totally glad that I got the opportunity to go and witness that, and that's it for me.
Thank you, Councillor. Well, you guys made my report much shorter because I don't have to repeat most of what you said, and I did say at the beginning that Fall Fest was really something this year. I can just see the momentum with the businesses really participating, people coming out to the events, etc. I'm glad you talked about Tracy Parker because her vision really was amazing, and the work that she did leading up to Halls of Terror, from, you know, building these massive paper mache trees to everything else was really something. We're very lucky to have her as a volunteer. The kids were amazing. I'm sure none of them had voices the next day because they were all, you know, like they were all part of the cast and crew of the Halls of Terror, and they had a great time jumping out and screaming at everybody once the scary part of the Halls of Terror commenced. We had the, you know, the family-friendly part, and then, you know, 6:30, I think it was, it turned into scary. So they did a great job. Of course, the home and school, I mean, you know, they really pulled it together and did a wonderful job this year. So thank you to everybody with that, the Witches in the Water, all of it was just wonderful from the beginning to the end. I went to as many things as I could. I couldn't make it to them all. Kudos to Jennifer, who was Sparky the dog, that couldn't have been comfortable wearing that all day long, so thank you to her for that. The other thing that that was important, and the two councillors over there have already talked about it, was the powwow, and I was really honored to have been asked to bring greetings from the town for the powwow, and we were actually included in the grand entry, which was an honor I really didn't expect. So I was very pleased to have been able to do that on behalf of the residents of the town. So that's pretty much it for me. So with that, we'll move on to item 15, which is business arising from committee of the whole. There being none, item 16, and the motion is that the council of the town of Grand Bay-Westfield adjourn the meeting at 7:41 p.m. Do I have a, thank you, Councillor Burpee, a second? And Deputy Martoul, perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you, everybody.